Even if we're not even affiliated, we're still the #1 Alf podcast in America. But not the German. We can't beat them.
Right.
Alf.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Mike. Just a heads up, my microphone is blown out for like the first minute or so of this podcast, so bear with me. Sounds awful at the start. We fix it after that, so stick with us. It gets better from there. I promise. Don't be mad. I love you. All right, welcome to This Week in Nerd History. This is a podcast where we take a look at all the fun, dumb, nerdy stuff from yesterday, today, and the future, or something like that. I said it a little bit different this time, but keeping you on your toes, people.
All the things.
I'm Mike. We got AJ and Sal. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
This is the last show of the year for us. I think,
this is
right?
our Christmas show.
This is our Christmas episode.
This is our Hanukkah show.
I just remembered. I was gonna bring a stupid Christmas. I have like a Darth Vader Christmas sweatshirt thing, and I forgot it. But this is festive, right?
I should have sent out
shirt.
something about like having an ugly sweater. The thing is, I wore my ugly sweater thing to an event, and now it's like not dirty but not clean, so I don't want to wear it again.
You're like, I want to wear it on Christmas, and I don't want anyone to notice it. So
True. Yes.
I don't want to have to wash it between now and when I have to actually wash it before I put it away.
Yeah, or deal with or hear about it from my significant other. Like, did you wear that 2 days ago? No.
Shut up.
The Superman teaser trailer just came out. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is coming out. It's going to be out by the time this episode airs.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about Arcane, because I just want to nerd out about it. And the very special Alf Christmas, of course. I know everybody's been dying for us to weigh in on the Alf Christmas special.
Everyone
the
is so
unofficial
excited
mascot
about
of the show, because I did a halfway decent impression of it one time. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
It's also, too, like, I don't know who Alf's, like, manager,
For?
PR team, whatever, but they were doing a shit ton of legwork to get Alf everywhere possible for all those different iterations of his thing, for his existence. Insane.
Yeah, cartoons, pogs.
I gotta say, people literally, as I'm watching the Alf Christmas special Christmas, rather,
Yes.
my husband hears it and he's like, I love Alf. And I'm like,
No, he thinks he does.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, I have an Alf doll. Like, it's sitting there. He used to talk, but my dad smashed that into a million pieces years ago. But,
yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that. Just, ha! No. Over and over again. Ha! Kill me! I want to! No, nobody likes Alf.
Oh, my God.
They just remember liking Alf because they didn't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
But, he is an asshole.
Howdy there, folks. Video James here. Well, it's that time of year again. The weather gets colder, the egg gets noggier, and the Christmas music becomes inescapable. Thankfully, our good friends at GamerSups are having a huge Christmas sale, so you can be fully immersed in the holiday spirit. This awesome deal drops on Friday, December 20th, 2024 at 3 p.m. Eastern. You get a free gift with every GG tub purchase, and the more tubs you buy, the more gift tiers you unlock, including their oddly modest Christmas waifu cup. So head on over to GamerSups on December 20th at 3 p.m. Eastern, and be sure to use the promo code Dorkly. All right, back to Mike, AJ, and Sal.
So AJ sent Sal
A package.
a special package in the mail.
I sent a special package.
This was a surprise. I got this message. Don't open it until it's literally today, the day we're shooting the episode. I also threw away the return envelope because I was like, oh, she used 2 envelopes. I kept it. But I threw it away. I'm like, there we go. And then I'm like,
no.
I'm like, wait. My wife was like, there's stamps on that. And I'm like, what?
Don't throw that away.
Should I read this?
Sure.
Here we go. Dear sir, please sign and return these copies of Terminator 1, 2, and 3. 2 copies each to AJ and Mike at your earliest convenience. We have included a self-addressed and postage-paid envelope and cardboard to help protect shipment. Oh, the card. Yes, the cardboard I threw away. Yeah, that's excellent. I will be sure to get new cardboard to maintain rigidity. Kind regards, AJ and Mike, Lower Studio. Aw, thanks, guys. This is really cool.
Make mine out to eBay.
I'll sign these. I'm not going to waste more time for you guys just watching
That's
me
fine.
go. But I will open this.
I hate the waste of wrapping paper, but I love wrapping things. It's such an eternal struggle with me when it comes to Christmas time.
Oh, no! Oh, God.
Can't escape him.
Mike, you might find something on your desk, too.
Oh.
How the fuck did you... here all day. What is what's
This is insane.
Christmas miracles.
Yosemite Sam? Ooh.
Thank you so much, AJ. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
All right, so this is Today in Nerd History, and today when we're recording, the Superman teaser trailer came out. Is it just called Superman?
It's just called Superman.
Just
They were
Superman.
toying with calling it Superman Legacy, and then they were just like, let's not.
I like James Gunn. I like his decision making with stuff and his aesthetic, and like he always like includes animals, which I'm a sucker for, so that's always nice.
Same.
Little puppy
I mean,
dog.
I thought I wasn't the biggest Superman fan growing up, but like this, it looks cool to me. I didn't, there wasn't anything that stood out where I thought like they seemed like a weird choice. They seemed like they're getting the Justice League people and some, for me, like more obscure characters involved too.
Yep, you're right to think that. That's
Yeah.
correct. For comic book fans, they kind of like, they would be like, what? But like for everyone else, it's like, please. Like Metamorpho and Hawkgirl and, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. It's like, these are big asks. But they'll be really well handled, I think. James Gunn knew how those characters acted when he read about them, and it'll be cool. It's a great trailer, and but it is, like you said, the animal thing. Like the star of the trailer is Krypto the Superdog, which is completely I wish I didn't know the dog was in the movie, because that reveal, that entrance for the dog is so great, and I'm just I'm ready to watch this dog.
So
not die.
you're telling me it's like a 2.5 hour movie about a dog, right? And everything else is just non-existent? Because I'm all in for that.
Gunn said it was under 2.5 hours long just today. He was
All
like,
right.
it's not 2.5 hours. And I'm like,
It
all right.
felt like they had a lot of introductions in
Yes.
the trailer.
a
So
lot of work going on.
the first time I was watching it, I was like, because I think I watched it 2 or 3 times, because I was like, did I miss something?
Yep.
It felt like I watched it once and I was like, okay, so wait, is that a series? And then I watched it again and I was like, this is one movie.
Yeah.
Yes, this movie
What?
is going to reintroduce you to a new Superman and Lois
But-
and his whole world.
And
Plus,
so many other things.
Lex
It
Luthor
feels
and
like
his
a
whole
lot.
family.
It feels
I've-
like kind of too much.
I would say the same, but from the first Guardians movie, the way how quickly he moved through introductions or stuff, I'd be like, okay.
I'm wondering, since I consider you to be the expert, Sal, what do you think about the casting on this?
I dig it. I'm down for all of them. Honestly,
Yeah?
there's no weird choice where I'm like, I mean, maybe Metamorpho, because normally he's normally a big guy, because they're all big guys. All the superheroes are big, and he's kind of he looks thinner. But
Maybe
then he's
he'll
in the
bulk
trailer.
up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just going to be crazy looking, and it's doesn't matter. And I'm like, all right, well, cool. Go for it. Make it weird. But Nichols Hoult as Lex Luthor, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I
he's
feel like
great.
he was born to play that.
Yeah, and I love how he auditioned for Superman.
Oh, he did?
He really wanted to be Superman, and he's Lex, and I'm like, yeah. Don't be weird about it, all right? You were never going to be Superman.
You were never going to be Superman, buddy.
It's like Nicolas Cage being like, I want to be Superman. I'm like, never.
Still.
Yeah, still. I'll play him in a cartoon and in CGI, and they won't tell me.
Yeah, I like him as Lex Luthor more so than, I don't mind Jesse Eisenberg, but when he was Lex Luthor, I was like, this is insane.
No, Jesse Eisenberg's weird Max Landis impression as Lex
Yeah.
Luthor, where he's like, I'm like, what is this?
Is this? He's playing basketball. I'm just like, I don't like any of this.
And I mean, it worked. You're not supposed to like him. And I'm like, success. But maybe not for the right reasons. I'm just kind of
Right.
he gives me really skeevy, watch your drinks ladies kind of vibes.
Definitely.
I'm
Definitely.
Yeah, that's how you should feel.
Yeah, not about Lex Luthor.
About Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that Lex Luthor, yes, but the Lex Luthor, the character, he's that he'd find that rude. He'd be like, "What? I'm gonna build a power suit and punch Superman. I'm
Right, yeah.
not a creep."
I just assume, if you're going to punch Superman, that you also would be a creep.
I mean, he is kind of a creep. He is a murderer. Don't get me wrong. No, he's a bad guy. But he has a 12th level intellect.
I'm hopeful for the relaunch of the DC movies and stuff.
Yeah.
So
This whole tepid reaction to Superman is exactly what they need to work towards fixing, because genuine, everyone is kind of like, oh yeah.
You don't want 3 people to be like, yeah! And everyone else to be like, eh. You want everyone to be like, okay.
You want everybody to be kind of down. Everyone's like, all right, July 11th, yeah, I'll probably be free.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you better be free.
It's going to be the week after 4th of July. Yeah, I'll probably not have anything
Gunn's
going
like,
on.
you better show up because we're going to lose the house if nobody goes to see the Superman movie.
Summer blockbuster.
It's supposed to come out on the same week, maybe same weekend as Fantastic Four.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
hoping we're going to get like a Barbenheimer situation because, like, I don't know about you, but like, oh no, 2 superhero movies that I want to see in the same weekend. What? How will I pick? I'm going to both. I did that in 1999 when they released Dogma and End of Days. And I was like, ooh, the Arnold post-apocalyptic devil movie and Dogma?
Wow.
Double feature, baby. And I smartly watched End of Days and then Dogma. I ended on a high note because End of Days, it's not great.
I gotta watch that one again. Or I don't have to. I need to watch
no,
the
we're not
trailer
going to turn
again.
this into an Alf Christmas special
I know,
thing again.
yeah.
End of Days sucks. Like the Alf Christmas special. I'm sorry.
Well, now that you said it, you gave me warning about the Alf Christmas special, and I still watched it. We
That's
both
true.
did, so now I gotta watch
AJ
it.
saw it too. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie's coming out tomorrow, the 20th.
Yeah.
It's going to be Friday for you guys when this comes out. Whatever it is, it's out already for you guys.
Now, Mike, you got free tickets to go see this because
Yeah,
of
I
your
get free
work on
tickets
the...
to like all those events. I was part of like the press junket in London.
You and
then we
Keanu
were
just
in
had lunch the
Cairo.
other day.
Yeah.
You guys were in New Jersey doing that.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, like, people really come to hear Tails' voice, even though he's like fourth billing in this movie, but it's like...
It's true, he is. It's the third Sonic movie, and he's like the fourth thing. It's like Sonic, Shadow, Knuckles, James Marsden.
Oh my god, wait, yeah, it's like sixth probably, because I forgot about, it's got, after you get past the cartoon character, like the three, like Sonic, Shadow,
Knuckles,
Knuckles, Jim Carrey, Marsden.
Jim Carrey. Oh my god.
And then Tails.
And then Tails, maybe.
Right? Maybe.
I wish it were you. I wish you were Tails in that movie. Because it's like,
too.
it's Tails like, yeah, let's go. But like this Tails like, yeah, come on.
Guys, I'm still here, guys. Hey,
Yeah.
am I part of this? Do you guys need anything?
I took this screenshot of the new trailer because this is the only thing that I care about in the Sonic 3 movie. James Marsden is wearing a sweater that's clearly handmade that says Donut Lord on it, and it's got poofy donuts all over it.
Yep.
I'm like all in on this. I want to know about the subplot.
Yeah. Well,
There's-
look at her shirt. Her apron says
She's
all
or
or muffin.
Are they just like living a very calm life? They're clearly doing like a 3D puzzle over here. There's a
Right.
regular puzzle. There's a loom. Over here is like a bunch of yarn. Over on the right here, we've got granny squares and like
Fresh baked
breads and pie. It looks like they're just living a very
Specific life.
a
here.
very
Yes.
specific, calm, nothing weird is happening kind of life. This is what I want the movie to be about.
I would be fine with a movie about these two as a couple, as both entrepreneurs. One owns a muffin shop and the other owns a donut shop.
Yes.
And they're
in the same
connected.
town, and they're rivals.
Yeah.
Like it's tearing the family apart.
You're tearing me apart.
Can you imagine going to your kid, like your child self? You're playing the Genesis. You're just like you're tearing through the Green Hill Zone, and they're like, listen, they're gonna make 3 live action Sonic the Hedgehog movies, and freaking Knuckles is gonna be in 2 of them, and they're like, oh my god, can you show me one frame from that movie?
And they're like, here you go, kid.
Here you go.
Take it in.
Ooh, what?
Take it in all of its glory.
It's like some weird like monkey's paw wish curse kind of thing.
Please, just give me a Sonic trilogy with Jim Carrey as Robotnik. Oh, he's the Mask. That's
the
amazing.
best!
I haven't seen the second one, so I don't know when the transition happened. But in the one of the trailers for this one, they refer to Robotnik as Eggman.
Yes.
They say there's another Eggman. Did that happen in the second movie?
That happened,
He's
I
in-
think, in the first movie.
Oh, did it?
Didn't it?
I'm gonna call Holly and ask her that with no context. And she'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Like, what's the story with Robotnik and Eggman in the trilogy?
Are you recording me?
You want me to look it up?
This is one of your TikToks. I want a divorce.
So go see Sonic 3 if you want to go see it.
If you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remember that Keanu Reeves turned out a Star Wars movie to be Shadow in Sonic 3, which was the right move.
And, yeah.
And Jim Carrey said he would not do any more movies unless the right thing came up, and this one came up.
And this was it.
Yeah, script made of solid gold or something was what he said, and
Well, there you go.
Well, he gets
He's
to
also-
play himself and his own father, right?
Yeah.
Right, or grandfather, I
Or
think.
Is it his
Grandfather.
grandfather?
They say, like, great-grandfather
It's
at
very
one
confusing
time?
because he does
Yeah.
say like grandpappy at some point.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
But I
assume
think he's just
also-
referring to like the children that he made being robots, being the grandchildren of his
maybe.
father.
Right.
I don't know.
Or it's his future
Let
self.
us know in the
Yeah,
comments
right.
if you see the movie. We might not.
I know that I'm not around. to
Honestly,
see it
actually,
now.
considering I will be away for a week with my kids and like we'll need things to do, maybe we will see Sonic 3.
Sonic 3.
Yeah, sure.
Sonic 3 will be it.
That's what it's there for.
They'll love it.
I
That's
know,
what
it
it's
really
there
is,
for.
yeah.
It's to help parents like me get through the doldrums of we have literally a week and a half of no
Yeah.
school. What the fuck are we gonna do?
Right? They only sleep about 5
It's
hours
so much.
a night.
Christmas is on a Wednesday. What the fuck?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do on Thursday?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to? Literally, my kids get a half a day this Friday. We have a full like 4 days of vacation before even like we start doing the Christmas Eve stuff.
Ugh,
That's so much time. That's so much time.
it's too much time.
It's too much time. Don't get me wrong. I love my kids, but it is a lot to spend that much time stuck in a house with them. It is a lot.
It's a lot. I completely hear you.
On to the next thing. Nosferatu.
Yeah, we can talk about Nosferatu. That looks cool.
Nosferatu looks great, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep.
It's by I forget the director's name, but
Robert Eggers, who did The Lighthouse, The Witch, and
Yep.
The Northman, which I didn't see, but it
Oh,
looks
I
like
didn't see
he
Northman
loves to
either.
use
It's good.
Defoe.
It's good,
Yeah.
He
man.
loves to use Anya Taylor-Joy in a lot of his stuff. So I'm actually surprised he didn't cast Anya Taylor-Joy
Yeah.
as the lead in this. Maybe he was going for like a more fresh blood kind of feel.
Fresh
Yeah.
Blood.
Fresh
Oh.
blood
AJ.
because of the
AJ.
Nosferatu. It looks legit like good, creepy. I'm excited for it.
I like vampire stuff too. I always thought it's like just interesting and different. Like the more I don't know how gory this one's gonna be. I think this one, like if it's a Robert Eggers movie or whatever, but like his stuff is like in bursts. It's like scary and violent and stuff like that.
Happy holidays.
So a natural transition into this is the live action Clayface movies coming out.
Very,
It's in the works.
very clear transition.
Yeah, I only know Clayface from like the Batman Lego thing and the awesome animated awesome animated scene where Clayface is having like a complete
Oh.
breakdown and he's seeing like he's turning on to all his different selves and stuff.
Well, it's definitively the best version of Clayface. Like even in comics, like it's Clayface animated series just completely destroys every other iteration. Apparently, Mike Flanagan from like all of the Mike Flanagan projects, Fall of the House of Usher, Haunted Hill,
Didn't he do Doctor Sleep? Is that
Doctor
what?
Sleep. Yeah, he's
I
making
like Doctor Sleep. I saw it recently. I
Yeah.
was like, how did I miss this?
Yeah, Midnight Mass is amazing project. It's so good.
House Party with Kid and Play, he did that, right?
I believe it's House Party 2.
Oh, right.
But
It's pronounced House Patar.
That was the French one.
yeah, Clayface movie. No, I'm good. I don't
good?
want those.
You don't want it.
I don't want like spin-off random like, oh, my favorite part of Clayface is when Batman doesn't show up.
It's supposed to be in like the new sort
Yeah,
of
it's in the Reeves Batman
Reeves Batman
movies.
world? Okay, yeah.
Like the Penguin show. Like
Yeah.
they were like, the Penguin show worked. Everything. Penguin.
I
First
mean-
of all,
I get it,
Penguin
yeah.
season 2. Okay.
Well,
Secondly,
what's interesting, Mike linked to an article about the new Clayface movie, and they talk for a while about how Mike Flanagan,
Yeah.
how he wrote a script and how he wanted it to be like a standalone horror thing, but they don't tell you whether or not like is that what it's gonna be or is it gonna be something else? Because if it's a standalone horror, I'm in.
yeah,
that sounds
I mean,
cool.
I think that sounds like what it's gonna be.
Please make it that.
I'm like, you made a whole movie with Riddler in it. Well, just make Batman 2 about Clayface. Like what?
Yeah,
Why do we
right,
need it
yeah.
to be about Clayface the whole
right,
time?
right. Instead of spin-offs on spin-offs and spin-offs.
I'm never gonna watch a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man in it, and I didn't rush to watch Penguin because there's no Batman in it. I heard Penguin is like the second coming, and I've seen a couple of sequences, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good show. I don't care though, because as far as I'm concerned, Penguin is a
don't
supporting character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Call me a curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon.
Fair.
Like I totally get that though, like the spin-offs and stuff. And I like the Penguin show a lot. I like
Yeah, it's a good show.
I'm saying it like it was called the Penguin show.
Ah.
I think what it did the most it's a long play for it too, but like it really just like established it spent whatever it was, 8 episodes, just like building up his character, and you're like, oh yeah, he is a fucking supervillain type of person, even though he's like lower level or whatever. You like totally get the idea of who he is. And it reminded me in a way of like the time that Marvel used to take in introducing characters before it's like 50,000 people in every movie.
Yep.
So like, I appreciate it for that. So that when he does show up in the second Batman thing, you're like, oh shit, now I understand like what he's gonna. But again, it's that thing where like, I didn't watch the series, so it doesn't mean that much to me. Blah 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 blah, all that kind of stuff. So like, I totally get it. Or just put Clayface in the Batman 2, and that'd be great. Like, I'd be fine with that too. Yeah.
I get shouted down for this kind of opinion all the time, where people are like, "Well, just let it happen. Like, just what's the problem with just extra stuff?" I'm like, because it isn't extra stuff. It's in place of stuff. Like, if Matt Reeves is developing a Clayface show, he can't make a Batman 2. And if he can't make a Batman 2, he can't move on to the DC Universe Batman. Like, it's just, you know, these things are all connected, folks.
All right, so going to do something a little bit different this time, a little bit nerdy on my part. This is nerd is in the title, right? I think this is our podcast.
Yeah.
So
we can nerd out about whatever we want.
Yeah.
If we're gonna nerd out about Alf some more.
Yeah. This is an Alf breakdown. Have you guys watched any of Arcane?
I have not, but now I want to because I started looking it up and I was like, oh shit, it looks so good.
Yeah. So trailer for it, I'm like, oh no.
Season 1 was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And like I saw the same stuff, just like endless things of how cool and well done it is and everything like that. I was super late to it. I'm midway through the second season. There's 2 seasons out right now.
I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but the second season is the last season.
It is? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. I mean, when it was announced, it was like, this is the second and final season.
Yeah. That makes sense. Some of the stuff that's been semi-spoiled for me, just the way this second season ends, I'm like, okay, I kind of can see what's going to be happening here.
Gotcha.
The writing's great. The artwork and the animation are outstanding. And like a lot of just the style of the show is really interesting to me. I'm not a huge fan of like toon shaded 3D stuff where it's 3D, but it feels like cartoony kind of thing.
Like the What If show? Yeah,
right. Like even that, like I'm okay with that. Felt like a step up from standard like toon shading, right?
Okay.
This one it's a lot more like hand painted feel to it. The backgrounds are a lot of like matte paintings or like projection mapping where there's some 3D elements and that painting is like mapped on top of it, so you can get a little bit of like 2.5D kind of feel to it. So it really like blends a lot of like 2D stuff, or not a lot, but like 3D stuff and 2D, so you're not quite sure where it's coming from. All the effects on the show are 2D, which is really neat, so I'll show you some of that stuff in a bit. This is the stuff I'm going to go through, guys, is mainly for the YouTube watchers on video. So if you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify, check out the video version of it because I'm going to kind of run through some animation stuff real quick. But some really interesting stuff that they do in here, and I'll kind of show you in a second, is there's limited, from what I understand, there's like limited lighting, like artificial 3D lighting in the show, which is strange because 3D animation is just, there's so much like lighting control on all of this stuff. So there's a couple shots here. One thing that Arcane does really well is action. There's a ton of fights and action and stuff in this. So I'm just going to play through this fight scene real quick. I'll just let it play. And then I'll kind of go through and kind of point out some stuff that makes a good action scene in like live action or animation. So there's tons of fight. I mean, the game itself is all fighting and shooting and stuff. But this, they really do a lot of different styles of action and fighting in this. Like these 2 clips are both in the same sequence, but 2 very different fighting styles or like direction.
Right.
Like, you know, all this painting back here, all this stuff back here is like a matte painting.
Oh, cool.
With some like, I think even this light here, all this stuff is just painted in. So like the artists have like control over like how this is going to look exactly. Same with like a 3D light, but they can just like make it look exactly how they want. And the other stuff that they're doing, it seems here like this is an artificial light on this guy's shoulders, but I think some of it's painted in as well. Oh. So they have control over that too, which is just really, really interesting. One thing that makes action tough to direct and to create is there's so much stuff going on, like fast cuts. It's making sure that you can control where the audience is looking so that they don't get lost in the scene, where you're like breaking the 180, where like things are like set on the left side of the screen and the next shot it's on the right side of the screen, and now you don't know where the action's going, you don't know where it is in the environment and stuff. It can get like messy really quick. They make use of like keeping track of where their eyes are a lot, and they'll kind of draw your attention in a certain direction. But also too, they'll use a lot of like what are called smears, and this is a smear here. fight scenes, big action, fast action, and stuff like that. Smears are all this, right? It's like a big, messy blur to help kind of reinforce how fast someone is moving. And then for a lot of these characters, they have these kind of like luminescent spots in here. It's like a certain drug energy thing, like fuel that they use, not to get into the details of it, but like that also helps track what's happening in the action. So there's a big smear there, and it kind of, and like this action, all this stuff here is 2D. So like there's a team of artists that are painting this in frame by frame.
Nice.
And here's another example, like that blood, squirt, juice, whatever that's coming out of that is 2D, and the rest is 3D.
Huh.
So, and again, these are like masterful animators and artists. I can like break down all this stuff, but like, so cool. This is Jinx. She has like this kind of purple energy that's like imbued in her, not to get into the whole thing, but like in season whatever, she gets like this stuff. And it kind of helps speed her up, so she's kind of supernatural in a very loose definition of it. But a lot of times, so like sometimes her eyes will glow, and here, you know, that stuff is kind of trailing her this way. Yeah, that light
tracing, yeah.
Right? So what happens in this, every once in a while when it kicks in, now it's going to start to lead her action. See how it's like she was, now this stuff is moving before she is.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the next scene, she's gone, and now all you see is that, and just a little bit of like, it's not even a smear at this point. She's just gone, and then she comes back here, and then it starts to trail her again. So when you watch it again, it really helps show that she is just like zipping to this next spot to kind of show how fast she's going. And it's also too, when that thing leads the way, it's emphasizing that like that is what's helping her do it. So it's such like a small, quick thing, but like that's what helps it sell that, right?
Yeah, and they had to think about it. Like it's something where it's like you had to pre-plan that. Whereas normally when you shoot with like live action, you just capture what the characters are doing with a choreography. But this is a choreography you had to set up beforehand, and then you have the animators have to do extra work in order to convey this like concept in storytelling without like, you know, getting lost in the details, and yet, you know, keeping those details so kind of like important but also secondary. Like, you don't think about that, your brain does subconsciously, so it sells it, and it's like if you oversell it, it's going to be weird. And I've seen that before too, where it's like they're just so proud of what they're doing that they put all these different things in there, and it's like, ease up. This is really cool.
That's exactly right. You know, a lot of stuff is through these fight sequences, you're going to see a theme of like following where their face is, right, and allowing certain framing and stuff to so that you can see the face. So like here, Jinx loses her balance, she's throwing herself up against a wall. And then this dude's big arm is going to come in, and it's framed in a way here where you still see her face throughout this whole thing, right? So you can just track where she is. And again, you got like, now they've brought in this to help you find her face again.
Right.
And then in the next shot again, here, this smoke is centered in a way
conveniently
face.
Encircles his face to focus. That's who he is.
Yep.
But also this is the danger that he generated.
Exactly. So now this part's pretty basic. So he gets distracted by one of her bombs here that comes up. And this is just cool decision making. This is another thing that they do here. They do a lot of impact frames. It's very anime. Anytime there's just like a big flash, bang, whatever. Yeah. Instead of just being a flash, you know, they'll do these little bits here just to help give it a little bit more impact. So this is just a nice fun.
And
really
the
nice
first
shot
time
here.
that you played through that too, I think that smoke with the little bits of glitter is a really nice 2D effect.
Yeah. And that's very much her character here. That's what she does. She's like very flamboyant and like deadly and stuff, but she's like her bombs and everything, all these like sort of, she makes like her own weapons and shit, and that's very much her character.
Yeah.
But then this is just like a cool reveal shot here. So he gets up distracted, and then you get her revealed here. Mm-hmm. And again, this is just like great framing and composition. So, you know, you're focused on the gun here, and it's going to serve two different things here. So it's framed up nice. It's also pointing right towards his, expression here. Yeah. He's like, oh shit, he just realized he lost track of where he is. Right. And so then if your attention is basically in this area, and then when you cut to the next shot, her eyes are in that same area as well. So you're not having to search for where she is in the frame. It's a close-up shot too, so there's not really too much to look at here, but like the focus is in her. She's locked in. The show is just packed with things like this. This one is just so much more fast and violent than the other one. So they do different things to like draw your eye around of what's happening here, because there's so much shit happening so fast. But they're really just smart in like where they're taking the time to kind of reset where you are in space, you know, in the times when it's not. This part's so fucking cool. So they're doing all this stuff. So like this dude is just crazy, right? His big thing is these two big blades. Right. And again, like so much shit going on, but now you're just focused on his face and how crazy he is. She's coming in. This is a great like balance here, like line of action here coming in, swinging her big arm around. So this part here is just crazy to me. Hang on. All right. This sequence here, if you play it really quick, there's just so much stuff happening there. Like I like to wrap your brain around like how to plan out that shot is nuts and not get lost in it.
Right.
But what they're doing here is so fucking cool to me. So
They're
like
putting you in the middle of his blades as they're spinning.
Right?
Yeah.
And like you're able to follow it. So his blade is the thing that you end up following and that's leading the camera. But at the same time too, they're making sure that you can see her. Right. And like her expression, and obviously they punch in here so you can see it even more.
Yeah.
But now his blade acts as like a wipe across the frame, and now the camera can move with it. Because even through it, you can still see her eyeballs there.
Yeah.
And now you're in a totally different spot here, but you can just imagine the camera swung around with that move. So now you're following him back here, and now you're seeing his face and his other blade, and that comes through, big smear, and then he comes back. Like it's all this crazy motion here, right?
Yeah.
And so here you take a half a second here, kind of reassess, and things get crazy again. And now you're like, where are they in the environment?
Yeah.
Right? So you get a second here to catch your breath. And then you jump across the alleyway here to this next shot. Right? So now you're like, all right, now you're through her POV. You're looking down. You're like, okay, Jinx was back at that first part in the alleyway. She's telling her how to use that new arm. And here you've reestablished it again here.
Right,
So it's like there's Jinx, and he comes in to frame. So now you're like, okay, now I know where everybody is again.
Exactly. It is the kind of shit that you see, like, someone make, you know, they spent like 2 years developing it, like the sequence here. Like, this sort of reminds me of like early internet animation, which like you were a pioneer of at the time. Like the idea of like them making like this, like, here's a sequence from a show that I have no attachment to, like that I don't own. You know what I mean? Like, and here you go. And it's like, why don't they just make that? This is a show.
It's fucking
Like how? Like, are the episodes 8 minutes long?
I know. That's the thing too. They're like 40 minutes.
That's
it's
insane.
like 4 movies. Like the first season's like 4 movies.
That's
it's
nuts
wild.
because like they never do that.
Yeah.
Like they never dedicate that kind of animation to a show that's this niche.
Yeah.
You know, like it's insane. Without like also, I don't know, either bankrupting a studio or like enslaving humans.
I know. It's wild. The budget for season 1 was $100 million
Oh my God.
4 movies worth of high quality artwork.
I hope it worked.
Yeah, I know, right? I hope they could actually like make a profit and not.
Yeah.
This is the last part I just wanted to run through. It's just like totally different sequence here, you know, style completely breaking out, and then just a little thing detail here, like he ducks down, his hat jumps up.
Yep.
And they do such a cool little thing here where they just reset it for a second and just set it back a few frames so his hat jumps up again, so you can catch it again, and then it gets zipped back and right back to her arm. So yeah, that was my little love letter to Arcane.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like the presentation style where you're like, here's where.
Just trying to draw on stuff. I know.
Yeah, it was awesome.
All right, so this is Yesterday in Nerd History, and very much thanks to Sal. We all watched the Alf, what is it, Special Christmas?
Special Christmas.
Special
I'm
Christmas.
sorry,
Christmas.
everybody.
My
Not
God.
Christmas special, special
Yep.
Christmas.
I saw it when I was like looking for something else, like earlier in the year, and I was like, "Oh my God! I didn't know they made it." I guess that makes sense. They should have made an Alpha Christmas special. I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna watch it around the holidays. And my
And you're
wife
going to be so happy about it.
yeah, my wife and our friend Danielle were here, and I'm like, "Hey, let's watch the Alpha Christmas special," and we did. And like 10 minutes in, they're like, "What the?" crap?
What did you
And I'm like, "Oh, hang on." And then it just got worse and worse and worse. I'm like, oh man, and just a lot of like, but they were like, what? And I'm like, all right, we got to keep watching this.
Yeah.
And it's like I could have
Where's
watched one
it,
of my
like-
favorites, but I watched that instead, and it was like, damn it.
I watched it last night on 2x speed, and I was lucky
I
enough to
should have
watch
done
one that was recorded on like off of a broadcast, so it had all
Yeah.
the commercials in there.
Oh, nice.
And that was like the best part for me was
Yeah.
the commercials. I mean, it was like
You put it to regular speed at the commercials?
I did, honestly, I did. But it had it was a ton of McDonald's, Burger King, but then as it went on, it was like Toys R Us. The last one was like a Blockbuster one. I was like, oh my God, this is like,
That's
it was almost fake how like on point the time was for the commercials.
I found it and it was streaming. So
Yeah,
it was streaming
yeah.
on
24
loop.
hours.
So I start watching it and I have no idea at what point in the special this is. And I can go ahead about 10 minutes, but I can't go past that. So I decided to go instead, I started and it said I was at the end of a 10-minute period. So I went back as far as I could. And I ended up being really only 2 minutes in because then I watched it until it looped again. But yeah, I from memory, it's basically Alf goes to a cabin with his family and he hides in the back of a truck of a guy who's bringing toys to the hospital and decides to pretend to be a toy for some reason.
Well, because otherwise, they'll find him out.
I feel like there's so many other things that could
I
happen.
feel like the first mistake, AJ, is you're trying to reason with this
I guess.
episode,
Premise.
Yeah.
and that's
Horrible.
just an uphill battle.
So I guess before that, the part that I didn't see until I watched it loop back, he opened everybody else's presents, and they get mad
Yes.
about that. He puts
Yes.
on the sweater that the mom bought for the dad, and he tells the little boy that he got a bike, and he ruins everybody's Christmas.
3 Perry Cuomo jokes. throughout the
In 10 minutes.
entire-
Yeah.
I was texting Sal every once in a while I was watching it, and at the end, I was just like, what the fuck, man? I just sent a
sorry.
screenshot of Tiffany, whatever, 1988 to 1994, whatever the dates
Yeah.
were. And I was like, that was
Was
a
it
real...
the actual girl that was playing Tiffany?
No.
But
no.
someone
But it was,
that they
dedicated
based it
to
on.
her.
Dedicated to her because they did have a little girl
Jesus
who died.
Yeah.
I'm like, no!
Yeah, I was like,
So, spoiler alert to anyone who's watching.
Oh, yeah,
There's a
the
little
Tiffany
girl
doesn't
named
make it.
Tiffany in the hospital.
Which
who
my wife
picks
Tiffany
Alf.
really didn't appreciate, by the way.
I'm sure
But
she
I was like,
"What
you're
the
so lucky.
fuck?"
Alf gets to say your name. You get a
Tiffany!
soundbite of him being like, hey, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiffany.
they named the
You could make
newborn
that
girl
your
Tiffany.
ringtone.
Yeah,
Hey,
Yeah.
Tiffany.
She
Yeah.
would be so mad at me if I played that sound.
Oh my god. You should do
If you could get your Alf doll to talk again,
Yeah.
and just have
Hey, Tiffany. She'd be so mad.
But that long, haunting shot at the end,
Ugh.
through Alf's POV, looking up in the windows, I was expecting something for her to do. I couldn't tell if it was a freeze frame or not.
Is he in a hearse in the last moment?
No, he's in their car.
He's in their car.
What, it
It's so
looks
weird.
like he's in a hearse.
It's just waving her to the.
Why did so he wasn't allowed to come back up because he's an
No,
alien?
because
But
Yeah,
they're
they-
like
yeah.
they're like, hey, we're friends. We got a friend in common.
no one will room with her because it's super depressing. And I'm like, so you acknowledge that this whole premise is super depressing.
They were afraid that somebody was going to be her friend and then get super depressed if she died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so dark.
That's super dark.
And then for some reason, Alf helps somebody have a baby in an elevator.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Mike has a good theory for that.
Yeah. They were 7 minutes short. They needed 7 minutes to fill.
And then he's like, "Why don't you name the baby Tiffany?" And we're like, "Is that
Is that nice?
is that nice?"
right?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I hate everything about this.
The cherry on top is when the
Yeah.
guy who is playing Santa and is giving toys out to everybody at the hospital decides that he's going to commit suicide on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
And Alf talks him down off of a literal ledge on a bridge.
It took me a second that they were building up to that, It's a Wonderful Life,
Oh, yeah.
whatever. But I was like, yeah, he's just gonna fucking commit
And, he
suicide.
talks to him for 30 seconds, and the guy's
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
All right, I'll just kill myself tomorrow. I've always got time. And by the way, that's Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles. That's Sheriff
That
Bart.
was him? That did not
That's
look
him.
like him. Oh my god.
No, because he died a year later.
This goddamn
He was-
special.
It just takes. It's super dark, and
don't-
it's not even it's worth it because Alf is so fun. Alf is a dipshit.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh,
Alf, why?
it's horrible. I'm sorry. I really feel bad because it's a really bad special, and but it also is a perfect example of what it was like to watch Alf.
When Cleavon Little was on the bridge and Alf talks him down, what did Alf say he was? Because Cleavon Little bought into it in a
He's
second.
really Santa Claus.
Yeah, the guy's like, "Oh, I know who you are. You're Santa Claus." And Alf's
Yeah.
just like, "Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I just have a disgusting baguette nose, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Santa."
Cleavon Little's character to just be like, you're Santa. He's clearly having a mental breakdown here.
Yeah,
he's
nuts.
hallucinating
Yeah.
full on.
Yeah, he gave away his life savings.
But he brings him back to his house where
Yeah.
the family's
Yeah.
staying.
Right, and then he drove into the river.
And he lets him go up onto the roof because he wants to see him go down the chimney.
Yeah, wow,
right,
it's a
that's
full-on psychotic break, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, now I'm going to go do the thing that I went to the bridge to do before.
Yeah, like he leaves the cabin to Willie. Even Willie's reason for going to the cabin in the first place. He's like, yeah, when I was a child with my family, we lived in an apartment and we were evicted on Christmas.
And we had nothing.
We had nothing, and we moved into this cabin. And after the charity of the owner of the cabin, we were able to stay here until we were able to like get a job. I'm like, what? Is there any joy here? And it's like the kids, I guess, but they're not being spared any of it.
No, the kids aren't happy about this.
Cherish our 80s wealth, because we would not have it if it weren't for the fact that it is the mid to late 80s.
There's a point in there, too, where the son, like, nothing's really happening. The son
No.
isn't, there's nothing bad happening to them. They're just, like, bored.
Right, because there's no indoor
there's
plumbing,
no
Yeah.
no
electricity.
electricity.
And the kid's just like, this is the worst Christmas ever. It's like, all right, man, fucking calm down.
I know. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, I miss my sheets. You know, like, this is horrible. I mean, I don't blame him. Like, yeah, Dad had like a nostalgic breakdown, dragged us all in the middle of the woods, took all of our shit. Like,
To be
half
fair,
my-
that's what I'm going to be doing with my kids next year.
yeah, take them to a like off the grid doomsday prepper cabin.
Did they ever
And then-
close the loop on the poison oak or the poison sumac?
They did not.
No.
All right.
He gets poison oak and then is just
Then he's fine.
whatever.
And
And
he
he,
washes his hands off, and he's like, "That's enough."
in the beginning, and Alf's they're getting all this shit out of the car. And the dad takes like he's like, oh, it's the TV or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like the next thing, he's like, what is this? And he's pulling out, he's like, that's the microwave. There's two things. One is that it was not in a box. It was the microwave. And he's like pulling it. He's like, what is this? The dad's
It's like,
like, what is this?
Use your eyes.
It's the fucking microwave. You recognize it? The other thing too, which isn't really anything, but it
I
was.
didn't
it was
realize
like
that.
like a fire safe. That thing looked like it was like 800 pounds. It was so fucking heavy. And I was like, I mean, that's the sign of the times, I guess. But
Yeah.
whatever. But I was like, good lord, that thing is not safe.
Sorry.
Happy birthday, Stan Lee.
Oh yeah, all right. Let's talk about Stan Lee real quick.
3 days
We'll wrap it
after
up on
Christmas, on December 28th, would have been Stan Lee's 102nd birthday.
And they would have made him sign autographs.
Yeah, they would have been like, happy birthday, motherfucker. Sign
Yeah.
1 million autographs. Show up in every single movie that you're
Give me
a
your
part
blood.
Wait, how old was he when he died?
He died in 2018. He was 95.
95.
of. R.I.P.
Like the Alf special, we really ended it on a positive note there.
Let's just end with the fucking Stan Lee.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy birthday, Stanley.
All right, that's it for this week. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. This is the last show of this year for us.
year.
We're going to take this next week off. We'll come back in the new year. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll read them all. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, give us a like, leave a comment. Always helps us out. Always appreciated. You guys got anything to plug?
Just our usual tomfoolery, you know, swing. Yeah, holiday cheer. I mean, definitely Santa. I think he, hasn't gotten a lot of press lately, so.
I know, especially this time of year. See
Yeah.
the dregs. I don't know. Yeah, I think what do we got? We're doing a Mario Christmas special for Dorkly. It's going to release on Christmas Eve. I think it'll be ready at
Sweet.
that point, something like that. Tuesday. We'll put it up on Tuesday, hopefully.
I want to plug the Dorkly store.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, we still got that sale going on. I forget exactly what it is. It's like you spend $25 or more.
Get some percentage off.
Yeah, you get a little percentage off there. We got some new stuff on there. We're still making some new designs that release in the new year.
You rub our backs, we'll rub yours.
So please check it out. Anything helps, support the channel. Really appreciate it. And that's it.
I think that's it. See you later, guys. We like you. We hope you like us.
Bye-bye. AJ, did you have a favorite Christmas special?
I
growing
mean, mine, I feel like I tried to avoid the Christmas specials because when they came on, I'd be like, ugh, this racket again. Like, it was always like,
Sounds like you need a Christmas special.
it was, I mean, maybe I do,
up? You're the one that learns the lesson in the Christmas special. Hang on.
right? What am I going to find out about myself this year?